Hi everyone, Andy Ron here with this week's video summary of the Montana Land Report for September 16th, 2020. It has been a blistering week in the Montana land market, a total of 20 pending sales this week. That's a record in the over 5 years that Montana Land Source has been tracking activity on a weekly basis. Tremendous amount of activity. A total of 42 property updates this week. 2 properties are back on the market, 6 new listings, like I said, 20 pending sales, 4 price changes, 1 revised listing, and 9 sold. So a tremendous week in the market. The Buying and Selling Ranches seminar is going on right now in Billings, Montana. Half of it's over, having happened yesterday. And one of the presenters is a real estate attorney who specializes in farm and ranch, handles farm and ranch transactions. She's been in the business for decades. Says that she's busier now than she's ever been in her career with closings for farm and ranch properties. It's been really nice to network and connect with all the brokers that are there, and again, just checking in with them, and everybody's telling essentially the same story. Tremendously busy, a tremendous amount of activity. Most of that activity, however, though, is in the lower tiers or mid to lower tiers, or I should just say maybe that the upper ends, the big ranches, are the one exception. A few brokers discuss that the big ranches don't seem to be in as high demand as everything else, and that probably makes sense if a lot of this market is driven by COVID and social unrest, refugees. They're looking for a place to settle, they're looking for a place to move, not so much necessarily big long-term investment that those big ranches represent. But we'll watch that with interest and see if that part of the market doesn't get active as well. In news and events coming up, we've got our joint meeting with the Billings and the Bozeman Farm and Ranch brokers coming up next week. We're going to have Greg Gianforte, a candidate for governor, Zoom in. His running mate, Kristen Juris, is going to be with us in person, and we're also going to have a drone operator present at that meeting and give some information on use of drones in real estate. And we also have an auction coming up, the Belt Creek Ranch, an in-person auction north of White Sulphur Springs, coming up in about a week or so. So that's all on Montana Land Source. Oh, and the last bit of news is episode 6 of the Ranch Investors podcast is out with Max Hansen, 1031 expert and guru for our area. He's presenting at the conference that's going on right now as well, but we have a podcast with him for about 45 minutes diving into changes in 1031, which have been significant. Lots of change in that part of tax law. So that's the report for this week. Please check out our podcast. Please like and share this content, both this video and the podcast. It's all available on mtlandsource.com. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you next week.